Are you looking for the best laptop for design? Well, in this video, I'm going to be taking you through 7 great laptops for design, from graphic design to video editing. Stay tuned if you need a laptop to run programs like Photoshop and Illustrator smoothly. But before we get too far into this topic, do me a favor, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already part of the fam. I suggest hitting that notification bell too so that you'll always know when we have a new video. It's okay, I'll give you a second. Are we good? Fabulous. Now, when choosing the laptops to feature in this video, we judge them based on the following criteria: storage, processor, screen, graphics card, battery life, and of course, price. Now, with these criteria in mind, I'm going to rank these design laptops on a scale of 1 to 5 stars. 1 star signals don't buy this, whereas a 5-star indicates the graphic design laptop is a must-buy. That being said, every one of these laptops is excellent for graphic design. Some may handle 3D better than others, but all of them should run Photoshop and Illustrator without any hiccups. Now, I'm not going to be stacking this list with the crappy laptops, so spoiler alert, there are no ones to be had here, okay? Any one of these will do the job of designing in Adobe's suite of design software. So with that said, let's dive in. You cannot have one of these lists without a MacBook. MacBooks and graphic design are like peanut butter and chocolate. MacBook Pro 14-inch is a great example of why. While the storage space can get as high as 8 terabytes on some models, you'll be paying for it as the price jumps significantly per terabyte. You are probably best off with the 1 terabyte solid-state drive, which I factored into my review here. You'll find that all models that I mentioned in this video feature a 1 terabyte drive, so don't expect much difference between the laptops in that regard. We'll consider 1 terabyte the standard, as any designer will likely have portable hard drives. You don't keep all your work backed up on a single drive, do you? Do you? Now, our processor on this beast is an Apple M1 Pro 10-core, bolstered with 64 gigs of unified memory. Apple's MacBook is one of the best laptops on this list, which is saying something because, well, technically they're all quite good. However, there is a lot of power under the hood of the MacBook Pro. As for the screen, this 14.2-inch Liquid Retina XDR display features a dynamic range of colors and brilliant contrast. The range of colors appears quite accurate. Now, I didn't notice any discrepancies in some of the images I used for checking against my current color-corrected monitor. Now, the graphics card is a 16-core GPU, though if you want to go for a more expensive model, you can get up to 32 cores in a higher tier of MacBook Pro. Remember that more cores means more processing speed, but a 16-core is more than enough to run Photoshop and Illustrator tasks. The battery life is a pretty impressive 17 hours. That means you can start rendering a video, meet with some friends, come home with a laptop still rendering away. Now, the MacBook Pro 14-inch will run you close to $2,000, which is reasonable given the MacBook's quality, but it might be a bit pricey for some of us, especially me. It also lacks some features and accessibility to software that you might find on Windows-driven laptops. However, when it comes to the Adobe suite, you're absolutely fine. With that said, the MacBook Pro 14-inch gets 4 out of 5 stars. Now, this is a solid laptop that can handle your Photoshop work with no trouble, but it's also a little expensive. So while it is a quality laptop, is it the best on the list? I don't think so. Next up, we have the Gigabyte Aero 17. Regarding your storage options, the Gigabyte Aero 17 has a 1 terabyte solid-state disk, which is average for most graphic design laptops. It's great for working on a couple of dozen projects, but it might also be worth investing in some portable storage. As a Windows-based laptop, performance is often a concern. Thankfully, the Gigabyte Aero 17 offers a reasonable 16 gigs of RAM. Designers know that Windows can run like a dream or chug, depending on the laptop build. With the Gigabyte Aero 17, performance shouldn't be an issue, given the 4.6 GHz Intel processor. However, I see a definite slowdown on the horizon, as these figures are relatively bare bones. A particularly intense rendering project, for example, might be a problem. For graphic design work like Photoshop, well, that shouldn't be an issue. But if you're doing 3D or video rendering, watch out. As for the display, this laptop features a 17.3-inch screen with a 4K resolution. The display also features an anti-glare style so that you can use this laptop in any number of environments with an accurate presentation of color. The display has also had Pantone validated color accuracy And this means that one of the leading color standardization authorities has signed off on the accuracy of colors displayed on the screen. The Gigabyte Aero 17 has a dedicated NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 graphics card, which is quite a good get for the model. The RTX 3070 is a reasonably well-regarded card at over $500 usually, being built into this laptop, which is a nice perk. Now the battery life is a reasonable 6 hours given the laptop's power, so you should keep it plugged in and work from home or have a readily accessible power outlet wherever you work. Also for a laptop, don't keep it on your lap. It runs a little hot. Safety first. Here's what kills this as an option for me, the price. Now, the total price is about $2,500, and while the laptop is good, for me, the value for the money just isn't there. The laptop is a strong contender for build and power for graphic design, but still that price, it's a bit much, especially compared to the MacBook Pro 14-inch, which also runs a little better and lasts longer on a charge. And because of this, while the quality is good, the value for the price is a little off. I'd give the Gigabyte Aero 17 3 out of 5 stars. Knock $500 off of it and then talk to me. But as a Photoshop laptop, it works quite well, although you'll probably hit some hurdles if you're looking into 3D rendering and dealing with video. The somewhat limited battery life is another concern as well. If I use a laptop, I expect it to run for a while without it being plugged in. Next up, we have the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Yoga Gen 6. Now this is our first 2-in-1 on the list, which means it's functional as a standard laptop, or it can be used as a tablet with built-in stylus support, which can be particularly useful for illustrators. The processor is nothing to sneeze at, see, as it features an 11th generation Intel Core i7 4.8 GHz processor. Performance-wise, you're on par with the previous two models, which is impressive given the budget nature of this overall laptop. You'll not have any real issues with running Illustrator or Photoshop here, and intensive rendering, that can be an issue, but you can always swing for a higher tier model if that's what you need. The 13-inch screen size is also large enough to work from without making the overall profile of the laptop too cumbersome to carry around or hold up for tablet usage. It also has a very crisp 16:10 display that won't leave your interfaces feeling overly crowded. The colors are also quite vibrant, which is doubly impressive considering that this display also has to work as a touchscreen. The touchscreen itself, by the way, is also quite responsive. As a laptop, the integrated graphics chip is a standard issue. The Lenovo ThinkPad uses an Intel Iris Xe graphics card. It's not a top-of-the-line graphics card by any measure, but through the sheer inertia of increasing technology, it's a respectable integrated card that should work well for any graphic design work that you may have. This laptop runs fine for our graphic design purposes. As a Lenovo laptop, there is an expectation of a decent battery life, and this one does hold up at around 9 to 10 hours of charge. Your mileage may vary based on what you're doing, of course. However, the rapid charge tech is a bonus, helping you top up if needed. Now the price is what has me most excited about this one. Now, I mentioned that this was a budget graphic design laptop, but that does not mean that you're sacrificing too much power. I've seen this laptop for around $1,400, a comparable rig at 2/3 the price of our standard MacBook Pro. Yes, please. Now, between the comparable power to other laptops on this list and the sub $1,500 price, I think I'd need to give the Lenovo ThinkPad 4.5 stars. It won't be the most powerful rig on this list, but it has tremendous value for the price. It can run just about everything we need it to, with the addition of a built-in stylus and touchscreen for drawing as an excellent selling point. The Lenovo ThinkPad is legitimately one of my favorites because it seems tailor-made for me to draw, and it performs quite admirably. And by the way, I don't need to sell a kidney to pick one up. Now, while Razer products such as the Razer Blade 14 are known for being more for gamers, their laptops are naturally powerful to keep up with the gaming trends, and that power is also excellent for graphic design work. And it makes sense. Gaming and graphic design are memory intensive and need powerful graphics cards. The Razer Blade 14 has an AMD Ryzen 9 5900HX processor. Now this is pretty impressive, but not as powerful as the other laptops that we're talking about today. This one offers a little less stellar performance, but given the smaller profile and increased portability, well, that's to be expected. Standard 16 gigs DDR4 RAM is also included. The big question here is whether it can run Photoshop, Illustrator, and other graphic design tools. It certainly can, but can you render a movie on the Razer Blade 14? Again, absolutely. It just won't be efficient to do so. Despite the thin profile of the laptop, the Razer Blade 14 doesn't skimp out on display size. This laptop features a 14-inch screen with a 1440p IPS. IPS refers to a type of monitor panel, and IPS monitors offer some of the best color and viewing angles industry-wide. The built-in graphics card is an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 with internal 8 gigs of RAM. Now, the graphics card won't run too hot and offers smooth 4K display performance. This should be suitable for your graphic design needs as well as your video games. It's okay, you are allowed to take breaks. However, as impressive as this laptop can be, one downside might be the somewhat disappointing battery life. You're going to be lucky enough to break 8 hours even on this one. Now, while I am more likely to use any laptop while plugged in, given the portability of the Razer Blade 14, well, I'd have expected a better battery life. The overall quality of the laptop is good. I mean, it's a Razer after all, but, well, I just found too many downsides to score this one high for value, especially given the price at nearly $2,800. Wow. I give the Razer Blade 14 2.5 out of 5 stars. It may work for games, but for long graphic design sessions, the overall package looks less impressive compared to other laptops on the list. You'll run Photoshop and other software quite well, but this laptop doesn't offer anything to justify the extra cost, considering the standard power level. On to the next laptop on our list, Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface has become a famous line of 2-in-1 laptops for good reason. The quality has been strong across the board. The laptops run Windows efficiently, showing off the operating system's power. The hardware architecture is designed to sell Windows operating systems, so, well, I mean, this makes sense, right? This model features a quad-core powered Intel Core i7 CPU, the 11th generation from the company. This is a solid workhorse of a processor, but it's not overly competitive with the most powerful processors on the market, so you may be paying for a little less processing power than you expect. The 32 gigs of RAM is excellent and above the norm of other laptops on this list. Extra RAM doesn't hurt, especially on what is seen as a more baseline laptop model. You'll be able to execute more simultaneous tasks, but you won't notice much of an increase in Photoshop and other Adobe programs. The 3:2 display ratio of the Microsoft Surface works quite well for software UI and less so for watching movies, but then again, this is a graphic design laptop, isn't it? At 14.4 inches, the screen is a pretty solid size overall, which also helps maintain the portability of the overall product. The colors are accurate to my color-corrected monitor, and the touchscreen, very responsive. With that said, it's not the best screen on the list by any means. It's good, but display technology has improved over time. Anyway, this one isn't exactly doing anything special. The i7 model I looked at came with a built-in NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3050 Ti, which puts the processing power on par with the earlier Gigabyte Aero 17. It's a solid card that works well with Windows architecture and should meet your graphic design needs. It's a decent graphics card, but nothing noteworthy. As for the battery life, yeah, this one did quite well with about 12 hours of charge time. Of course, that will vary with usage, but given the portability of this one, that's good battery life. Speaking of portability, this one is a little chunkier than some others, so expect a little heft despite the reasonably small profile. It's not overwhelmingly heavy, but it's the heaviest laptop on this list. While a solid 2-in-1 laptop, the price is, that's a sticking point for me. While you can get it cheaper, the laptop's going for around $2,700. The Microsoft Surface Laptop Studio offers a quality product with solid performance, but there is more value elsewhere. I'd give this one 3 out of 5 stars. At first glance, this laptop, especially as a 2-in-1, is a pretty compelling package. However, the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Yoga Gen 6 does much of what this laptop does and does it a bit better. Performs a little faster, it's a little lighter, and it offers that fantastic 2-in-1 functionality, which is one of the most significant selling points of the Microsoft Surface. Now, Microsoft Surface can run graphic design software well enough, but might be better suited as a generalist laptop than a graphic design laptop. Still, the performance is notable enough to land at a spot in a list of graphic design laptops. The LG Gram 17 is a surprisingly excellent laptop, and I found myself really falling in love with what it offers, how it performs, and how affordable it is. It may lack the 2-in-1 functionality of some of the other laptops on our list, but you can easily supplement this laptop with a separate USB tablet interface. The LG Gram 17 is a low-power laptop that uses a quad-core Intel Core i7 processor, which is on par with many of the laptops on this list already. Performance-wise, well, this laptop can get as high as 4.6 gigs when executing complex processing, such as video exports. Now, the 16 gig RAM is a fairly standard but welcomed addition to the capabilities of this laptop. Overall, this laptop runs quite efficiently and will maintain smooth performance with the Adobe Creative Suite. The 17-inch screen is also welcome, and while the overall laptop is pretty portable, I did notice that the screen itself is a bit shaky due to the construction of the hinge. Add to that, the screen is also a little reflective compared to the other laptops on this list, so the quality of the display itself is a bit less polished compared to previous laptops. Otherwise, look, the display is good enough for the graphic design work you may want to do. Now, I noticed no issues with the refresh rates, and the color accuracy seemed on point. One of the downsides, to this laptop, quite significantly, is that the graphics card isn't particularly discrete, instead using an integrated and basic Intel UHD 620. Now, the Intel UHD 620 isn't the most impressive graphics card on the list, but, well, it doesn't necessarily need to be for the work that you're likely to do here. Just don't expect to run 3D design applications as efficiently as 2D. You won't have any issues working on a Photoshop document of over 20 layers if this is what you're concerned about. Now, the battery of the LG Gram 17 is also one of the better on this list of laptops. It's been shown to run around 12 to 13 hours of charge under regular usage. Of course, again, that may vary based on the software that you're using. Now, the price of this laptop is around $1,500, putting it a full $500 below the MacBook, while offering performance that's pretty close to what I would consider a flagship laptop for graphic design. Use those savings to buy a USB stylus and pad for drawing-based projects. Now, the LG Gram 17 surprised me with what it offered for the value, so I'm comfortable giving this one a 5 out of 5. Now, the performance, it's not exactly going to set the industry on fire, but for graphic design purposes, well, that's not necessary. Can this run Adobe Illustrator blazingly fast? Absolutely. Might you get some slowdown rendering in Blender? Probably, but it won't be too dramatic. I recommend this one as a graphic design laptop option for sure. Now, the last laptop we'll be looking at today is the ultra-portable ROG Zephyrus G14. Now, like most laptops on this list, you can always buy up a tier for better performance and storage, but the ROG Zephyrus G14 should be enough for most graphic design work. As for the processor, the ROG Zephyrus G14 uses the AMD R series. Specifically, you have the octa-core Ryzen 9, a particularly well-regarded and robust processor. The 16 gigs of RAM in the model that I looked at is also definitely worth noting. Now, ROG released a speedy laptop, and given the portability and price, it is very impressive. Given the name, well, it's apparent that yes, we're dealing with a 14-inch screen, but it is also anti-glare with a native resolution of 2560 by 1600. It's a solid display, and the colors were accurate, even out the box. I didn't have to do too much adjusting. Now, what is intriguing about this laptop is that the graphics card is also quite powerful, despite the product's overall size. The ROG Zephyrus G14 features a dedicated AMD Radeon RX 6800S graphics card, which carries the added benefit of the laptop handling power more efficiently, as the CPU and GPU come from the same manufacturer. Now, when you mix and match processors and graphics cards between manufacturers, well, you can sometimes lose efficiency. It's different here. Now, regarding the battery life, you'll be looking at around 10 hours of charge with standard usage, which is appropriate given the laptop's processing power. Now, to hit a fairly reasonable charge benchmark with such a powerful laptop is impressive. At only 3.5 pounds with a surprising amount of power in such a small package, you'd think the ROG Zephyrus G14 is something that you'd expect to pay a premium for. But nope, that's not the case. I found the value of this laptop to be relatively high, given the reasonable cost of about $1,700. Now, I'm confident giving the ROG Zephyrus G14 4.5 out of 5 stars. The laptop runs Adobe Creative Suite software quite smoothly and is one of the best overall laptops on this list for graphic design work. The performance overall seems to be even better due to how critical internal components share a single manufacturer, AMD, which ensures that you are not losing any efficiency between components. And with that, we reach the end of our list, and I want to share my top 3 laptops. Now again, every laptop listed here is good and will work well for graphic design work. Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator will run smoothly on any of the 7 laptops on this list. And if you have the money to buy higher tiers of these models, then you should go for it. Now, as for the 3 laptops I recommend, well, we've got the LG Gram 17, the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Yoga Gen 6, and the ROG Zephyrus G14. They all feature excellent graphic design performance. While the LG Gram 17 is my pick, it doesn't necessarily stand head and shoulders above the 2 runners-up. You should shop around and keep an eye out for the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Yoga Gen 6 and the ROG Zephyrus G14. They are all fantastic graphic design laptops for the price. And if you can get a deal on any of them, then you're winning in life. But now, what do you think? How much does value factor into your search for graphic design laptops? Were there laptops that I missed? Please let me know in the comments. And before you go, please do me a favor and like and subscribe to the channel to support the graphic design videos that we're doing. Please also go and hit that notification bell to know when all our new videos come out. And with that, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon next time. Bye-bye.